What's up, gang? It's been about 3 weeks since I picked up this new 2024 F250, and I'll let you folks know I had a lot of mods and upgrades I was going to put on the truck, and I think I just got completed doing just about all of them. But not to draw this video out any longer than it needs to be, I'm just going to dive in and kind of show you folks what I've done to the truck. So we're going to start up here at the front, and I installed the Aeroskin AVS Bug Deflector. This thing I've had on every single one of my trucks, and even on my last F150, you could see rock chips that hit this thing. And with F250s, you have a billboard up front of just paint, and that would get murdered going down the highway. So I really do recommend these things. I've had them on every single truck. They stick on with 3M. There's no bolting, no screwing, and it's obviously extremely low profile. But these things are absolutely fantastic. Again, I've had them on every single truck. I got rid of that giant snowplow air dam, and I bought this from CJC Offroads. It is a Ford OEM Tremor valance. So this is about 2 inches thick, where the OEM one I think was like 9 inches. It came down to like right here. It was terribly ugly. So I took that off. It takes about, I don't know, 18 little bolts that you have to unscrew from underneath and then attach this. But this made a huge difference just to the overall front look of the truck, in my opinion. It gives it a little bit higher stance. It looks like a little bit higher stance. So speaking of higher stance, this did just come back from the shop. I got a 1.5 inch ready lift leveling kit on this thing. So it raised it up about 1.25 inches when all said and done. Now on the F250s, to get it perfectly level, you technically need a 2.5 inch level, and I didn't want this thing level. I need a little bit of rake, so that's why I didn't go up any higher than 1.5 inches. But that 1.5 inches just lifted it up just a little bit, enough to get that factory nose up just a little bit, and I like the looks of that way more. Now at the same time they were putting the lift on, I got the Ready Lift airbags put on, and this thing's pretty slick. It's got a little remote that I can sit here in the back of the truck and air it up with my remote. The compressor for this thing is located on the frame over here, actually. Give you a look at that. So it's up under there, and then the air lines, of course, go down the frame of the truck. But it's not technically onboard air, so I can't use it to air up tires or anything. It is just made specifically for these airbags. And I got this for towing, so I can put about 30, I think 40 PSI puts it up about 1 inch higher than stock, which is what I'm gonna do because that came up 1 inch higher. And I've got my hitch all set up, so I know 40 PSI will air up and lift up my truck in the rear about 1 inch. Now, let's talk tonneau covers. I've had everything that you can imagine. I've had the retractable tonneaus, I've had the flip up hard tonneaus, and I decided to go with this soft roll-up tonneau. I bought this off of Amazon. It was literally one of the cheapest that I could find. It's from Tonno Pro, and I've had this style on a few trucks ago. And guys, it has rained nonstop for 3 weeks here in Texas, and I have not had an ounce of water get into the back of this truck. That's why I went with the soft roll-up tonneau, because in my opinion and in my experience, these have the best waterproofing for your bed. Okay, they're lighter weight than anything. They don't add a whole lot to your payload. So I went with the Tonno Pro, and I couldn't be happier with it, guys. It was like 280 bucks, which is not cheap, but in terms of like the Truxedo, Truck Sports, those are $400 and $500 for a soft roll-up cover. I didn't want to do that. Tires. I did upgrade the tires. I am running 295/65 R20 Toyo AT3s. Load range E. These are going to be more than adequate for towing my little 9,000 pound trailer, and and this size is only about 1 inch bigger than factory. Factory, it came with 275/65 20s, but this just has a little bit meatier sidewall, a little bit bigger tire, nothing crazy. So my speedometer is only off like 1.5 miles at 60 miles an hour, if that. So I'm not even going to mess with recalibrating the speedometer. You can do that using Forscan, and I'm going to tell you some few things that I did do on Forscan on this truck, but recalibrating the speedometer is a little bit more difficult. You have to go in and change all the shift patterns, the shifting RPMs, all that. I didn't want to mess with that. I'm okay with about 1 mile an hour off at 60 miles an hour. But so far the tires have been great going down the highway. I honestly can't tell the difference in noise level between these tires and what was stock. which were Bridgestone Dueler all-terrains. Very, very quiet tires, but a little bit more aggressive tread pattern, and the sidewall looks a little bit better. So I prefer these much more over stock, and they have a little bit of poke. So if I get up here to the front, maybe you can see it comes out just a little bit, and these are on stock tires, obviously, stock wheels, obviously. And you know, of course, no fitment issues. I think you can fit 37s on these F250s and really not have any problems. Back in the day, 35s were the big tires. Now these are just kind of standard stock size, and people are putting 37s on F250s, and I definitely didn't want to do that. It's just a little bit harder on the truck. But anyway, coming around here to the back, I put some of these safety chain shackles, just because these are much easier to connect trailers to than the actual Ford hitch. Now Ford did redesign this hitch to make it a little bit easier for safety chains, but I went ahead and put these on anyway. Got my lock there. So this is kind of the cool part that I wanted to show you. And again, here's this Tonno Pro. It's got one latch. You just click it and roll it back, and goes all the way back, and you can tie it up in the back. But the BedRug, I will never have a truck without a BedRug. I like these way more than the spray and bedliner, because this actually gives you a little bit of padding. So when you're on your knees and stuff, it's much easier on your knees and legs to crawl in and out. And I just prefer the BedRugs way more. I did not cut out a hole for my light. I do have a bed light in here, but I ended up installing these lights up underneath here. I know you can't see, but I just installed some bed lights underneath the tonneau rack, and they go all the way down the back and then down the side up there. And this is kind of what it looks like during at night, but it actually provides more light than the stock bed lights that come on the Ford. So I do like this lighting system more. Now let me show you how I'm powering those lights and other things. So I've done a lot of stuff with BougeRV. I've got a lot of their coolers, and I've got this little JuiceGo power station, and I didn't really know what to use it for, because it's a really thin power station. As you can see, it's only about 2.25 inches thick. So I thought this would be perfect to use for my 12-volt bed lights. So I wired all of my bed lights, again, up underneath here, down there, ran the wiring, terminated down here. It goes down and then just straight into this little 12-volt socket with a power switch on the end of it. So when I want to turn the bed lights on, I just turn the switch on and off, and of course I can't show you now because it's bright outside. But this little JuiceGo system is absolutely perfect, and I do have an adapter that I can plug into this. It'll give me two 12-volt outputs, so I can plug this into one, and then if I'm running a cooler, I can plug the cooler into the other one, and then plug that adapter in to this JuiceGo. But this thing doesn't weigh anything. It's got LiPo 4 batteries. You know, it's just gonna last. It only has a modified sine wave, so I wouldn't recommend picking this up to run like a TV or anything. But for my applications, this is, and I've got a lot of power station guys, this was the most perfect power station to use for my bed, because it's thin, it's small, it's like 250 watt hours, it's plenty of juice to run all of my stuff that I'm gonna put in the back of the bed until I get to camp. And I have it taped up to this panel, and it just sits here absolutely perfect. So I'm gonna get this, I'll get that tied back up later. But what I have this sitting on is I bought this molle panel from Builtright Industries. I bought it, and it just attaches directly to the factory tie-down plate right there, and down here to the tie-down hook. I gotta tighten these up. But it's all metal. This thing is built like an absolute tank, and it just gives me a little bit of surface to mount things. Obviously, I only have the power station there to mount it to, but you can get, use your imagination. There's a ton of holes here that you can use, and I'm probably gonna get one for that side too. They actually have them that go all the way down, and then they have some that go against the back of the bed too. But I just bought this specifically for this little JuiceGo power station to power my coolers and my bed light. So that's the bed. Looking around, I got the window visors on just in case it's raining, or if I need to run a cord into my cab and it's raining. That gives you a little bit of extra protection up here to, if you have to have your windows cracked just a little bit. I've had these again on every truck. I personally think it looks silly without them, just because I'm so used to having these. And I like the ones that have the outside mount. I do not like the window visors that go inside the window channel. I've seen that scratch some of my windows, and they don't really stay put. So I like the ones that have the mounting tape on the outside. That's what I choose. And then of course I changed out my stock antenna. Got this little 6-inch antenna that, yeah, it's just an antenna, but it works. But I hardly ever end up listening to radio anyway, but I just don't like the looks of the stock antenna. Let's move inside. Show you folks a couple of the things that I did in here. So it's hard to tell, but I did buy a matte anti-fingerprint screen protector because these screens are huge, and as soon as you touch it, it's got a greasy fingerprint over everything. But if you get these little matte screen protectors, you kind of put them on, squeegee out the water, and let it sit a day or two, and then all the air bubbles come out. But you can't really see fingerprints on this thing anymore. And I've been using this obviously since I bought it, and you can't really see any fingerprints. So I do recommend these. That you can get them for any style truck, but it just, if you're OCD like me and you don't like fingerprints, these are great. Down here, I installed this little gadget right here. It's just 3M tape, but it's a magnet, and I use it for my tire minder for my trailer. And this little gadget right here, this little magnet, comes with these plates that I just taped to the back of this, and you get like 4 of these plates and 2 of these magnets, so you can use them for obviously anything. But this is perfect for me just to stick right there when I'm towing, and it's my Bluetooth connection to my TPMS sensors on my trailer. So when I'm not towing my trailer, I'll just pop this thing off and stick it, you know, wherever. Then this is really cool, guys. I bought this for this truck after I bought my other one for my F-150, and they're great. They're from Bulletpoint Mounting Solutions, and they fit in this little cubby hole up here that I never used until now. So this is screwed down. You can, I suppose, just 3M tape it, but here in Texas, that heat is gonna kind of unbond that tape eventually in the summer. But this thing is all metal. It's screwed down into there, and you can get any kind of mounts you want. I've got this for my GoPro that is bolted down to this Rubigrid. That's what they call it. But I hook my GoPro here, and then my phone here, which is on a little swivel arm, so I can move this any way I want. It's on a, you know, obviously it's like a tripod head. Tighten that down any way. I have another mount just like this that holds my rear view camera monitor for my trailer when I have it hooked up. So when I'm towing the trailer, I'll take this off and move it here, and then put my mount for my rear view camera on this ball head right here to use when I'm towing my trailer. So these things are great. I think maybe I paid around $80, $85 for this. And then you can go buy so many different kind of attachment points to put on these things for whatever you have, and they just work great. I got the eyebrow tent installed. I did get tint on the truck, obviously, with that eyebrow, so I got the darkest legally I could get. I think it's 30% in the front, and then they put 15% over the privacy glass, so it's around 5% now on the sides, and then on the very back. So here in Texas, I've got to have tint because I keep this thing parked outside, and that tint really helps with the heat. Guys, I think that's about all oh, let's talk about Forscan. So if you guys don't know what Forscan is, it's kind of like an open sourced software program to where you can essentially hack into your Ford's computer system and kind of change some settings. You can really get in depth, and you can probably get in trouble if you go into too much detail on Forscan, but it's a free app. You can pay for a yearly subscription or a lifetime subscription, or it's free for 2 months. But what I changed on mine, just really simple things. I swapped out the bulbs and the tail lights also for LED bulbs. For some reason, these Lariats nowadays don't come with LED tail lights. They're halogen. So I don't like those, so I swapped them out to LEDs, but that gives me a hyper flash because the system thinks that I have a bulb out. So I went into Forscan, I turned off hyper flash, so now my LED bulbs don't give me that super fast blink when I turn on the blinker. And the other thing I did to the blinker is, you know, when you just barely press the blinker down, it'll give you 3 blinks. So if you're just changing lanes on the highway and you just push up or down, you'll get 3 blinks and you don't have to worry about it. Well, I changed that to 5 blinks because I don't think 3 is enough. So I just went into Forscan and I updated it to 5 blinks. And when I have a trailer hooked up, it adds 2. So when I have my trailer hooked up and I just push up or down slightly, it's going to give me 7 blinks to give me time to get over with the trailer and I don't have to actually push up all the way on the blinker and potentially forget about it. Something little, I know, but it makes it a little bit easier. And that's about it I've done on Forscan. You can really go crazy with Forscan, but it was mainly just the hyper flash that I want removed and that blinker count that I changed. And I think that's about it, guys, that I've done. I think you've seen I got the Husky liners put in. Huskies are my favorite. I've had WeatherTechs, I've had other styles, other brands of these floor mats, and I like Husky the most because they're a little bit tackier and your feet don't slip like the WeatherTechs. WeatherTechs are slippery, I think, so I like these Huskies. I got this back seat bed protector because we have kids, and that's saving the back seat. And then, of course, kids have feet that like to kick the back of the seat, so I got these back seat protectors put on. And that's about it, guys, for all the little mods. I don't know if I call them mods or just additions. I don't know, but that's everything that I've done in the truck, and I think it's about done now. The first tow for this thing is going to be the end of May. We're going to go hook up the trailer on May the 30th and take it to the RV park. So I'm super pumped about seeing how this thing tows compared to my F-150, which had a 3.5 EcoBoost, and it towed it great. But here in Texas, it just wasn't enough truck to compete with all of the wind that we get. So I'm really, really hoping and excited to see how much better this thing tows than my F-150. Again, our trailer's about 7,500 pounds fully loaded, so it's not a huge trailer, 33 foot long, but that F-150, again, towed it, and it got us around all last summer. But I think this is gonna do much better. And now that all these mods are done, I can just enjoy the truck and start driving it and really enjoy it. And I can say, and I will say, I have noticed that the F-250, it's a little bit less of a comfortable ride, but I don't care. And I don't care about gas mileage because I don't drive that much. So wasn't worried about that either. But anyway, gang, stick around and I'll give you an update on how this thing tows at the end of this month. But I will leave a link for everything that I just showed you folks that I put on this truck, and maybe even if I forgot something, I'll put all of the links down below in the description. Some of them will be Amazon affiliate links. Some of them, like the Builtright little molle panel, I don't think that's on Amazon. I went straight to their website to buy that. But that's it, guys. This is the 2024 F-250. And I think she's done now. So stick around, and she's gonna be featured in way more videos coming up here on the channel. And we're gonna get her legs stretched here pretty soon, hopefully, so stick around. So thanks for watching, guys. See you soon.